Welcome back to the Constant Complete podcast featuring myself, Spencer, my friend Matt,
Yo.
and my friend Viscake.
Hello.
Hello. And today we are just going to, again, talk about some games that we played. We're going to take turns going back and forth since the last podcast. I think Matt and I are going to start this time around.
Yeah.
Matt, what game do we want to start with this time? Are we just going to go right into it on Obby, or are we going to talk about Days Gone?
We can talk about Obelisk.
Okay, so yeah, we've been playing across the Obelisk basically weekly for the past couple months with our friends
Can I move this without it?
Coulter and D over at Road Rage Gaming.
Oh, dope! It doesn't cover them. Oh, I'm a genius.
Nice. And so we've been playing that for a while, and we've basically 100%ed the main mode, like without going into like all the challenge mode stuff. We've almost gotten unlocked everything. And so I think we have close to
about 50 hours.
Yeah, about 50 hours into the game now. So we have some gripes, and we feel like we can speak on them with authority because of how much of the game. I think 50 hours is a good amount. It's a good amount where we can now effectively bitch. So
if you've played or done 50 hours of anything, you do have some expertise in the thing. So yeah, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. So
unless you're playing Persona, then that's like the beginning, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But
unless you're playing Persona, in which case you
got a half left, bitch.
You haven't even really done it.
Through the first dungeon, idiot. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Dude, if you're playing 50 hours of Persona, you haven't hit the first dungeon. What are you doing? Granted,
you're just hanging out in the coffee shop. What's his face?
I'm trying to get my social links up before I even finish the first boss.
Wait until what is it, Tuesday or Thursday, when you can go into the place and have a bath or whatever when it's raining. Get that. Those bonuses.
I don't even think you can progress the game until you beat the.
I'm pretty sure that is after the first.
There is a hard. Yeah, I do have a hard deadline with each boss, but yeah.
But anyways, this is about across the Obelisk. Before we go into any details, I first want to say it's kind of fun to play. Like, we wouldn't continue to play it if it didn't have like a little bit of fun in it, right?
I disagree.
Matt apparently hate playing it now.
Well, I play it because everybody else wants to play it, and I like bitching about it.
But yeah, it is an early access, so we do need to say that. And so hopefully some change will come, and maybe this will help. So starting from the top, do we want to just go down the list? Or do we want to just talk naturally about, like, what's the first thing that comes to mind to you about...
do you have, like, a list of...
Matt put together, like a manifesto of a list of issues. Of things that we've talked about before. We've probably spent 30 to 45 minutes of every stream over the last couple of months after playing the game, talking about these things. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and start with the main thing, which is the wording on like anything in the game does not match what actually happens.
It's subject to change.
So Matt, give an example here. Like, what specifically were you thinking of in regards to like a card or a perk?
Well, the perk with the refund energy perk. So some of the characters, they have a refund energy. We'll talk more about it later. But you play a card, you get 1 energy back. So if you play a 2-cost card, you get an energy back. Right. It doesn't say anywhere in that wording. It just says, oh, play a melee card, you get an energy back.
Yeah.
Whatever. So if you have a melee attack that's 0 cost, you get no energy back.
Yeah.
That's fine. Whatever. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun. All right.
It's also just not made clear that that's what's happening.
But also, if you have a card that makes, I don't know, your melee attack cost 0, and it has like a little special little green thing, it's like, oh shit, this thing's cheap. You still don't get an energy back. So why does it say when you play a melee card, you get a refund of 1 energy?
Yeah.
With no limit. It just says, that's what it says.
Right.
There's no like, it has to cost 1.
Right.
It must cost something. It
Yeah.
doesn't say that.
I think there's a small amount of technicality in the word refund, meaning you need to provide funds. And we've talked about this when we were first talking about this too, where you have to provide funds to get funds back, right? but it's also very easy to get to the conclusion that every other time you play a card that is a melee card and you get an energy back, you expect to also get energy back when you play a zero cost card as well.
Two things real quick. One, this sounds like Magic the Gathering as hell, where if you are literally talking about the definition of refund,
yes,
meaning to fund at least once, that's like some bullshit I've heard over like a Friday night Magic night. And
right.
two, this one's for the viewers or whatnot. Matt does actually have a list, and he sent me a link to it. And yeah, so it's a real list, and it's got like numbers and colored titles and stuff. It's pretty impressive.
I took the lesson plan thing
template.
I had bigger plans, but I ran out of time.
Right.
Okay.
But just talking about the refund shit. There's also other characters that their cards just cost one less. So
yeah, so here's the main issue.
If you look at number 12 on the bullet,
right? Yeah, on level up, most characters can either get a refund of 1 energy or decrease the cost of certain cards by 1 energy. And why are there two different words for it? Because
they're mechanically the same thing. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially with the fact that you don't get a refund back on 0, it is the same.
Yeah,
thing.
They're mechanically exactly the same. There's no difference.
And so
other than I have to do a little bit more math.
I feel like as de facto host, I do need to specify and let people know Across the Obelisk is a roguelike card battle game where you can play multiplayer with friends up to 4 people, co-op, and it is displayed to you in the style of Darkest Dungeon visually. And you work through multiple acts where you go to different locations within that act, and there's a lot of different paths you can take, which is probably the most fun part of the game, is finding different paths and like storylines within each run. And you level up, you get new cards. It's also a deck builder for each separate character has their own set of cards and stuff like that, and their own stats.
It's a cool idea.
It is it's a cool idea.
Horrible execution.
Yeah. And we're about to get into more detail.
So mad.
Yeah. And we're about to get into more detail about it, but there are a lot of other things wrong with the game not having to do mechanically, with like sentences and like text being weird and like interactions being kind of strange or not happening the way you think it is, and because it is an early access, right? This is mechanically. This is the part of the game that makes the game a game. So number 2 on the list. So that's just the first one. That actually affects every character. Every character level 2, they have a refund 1 cost thing or a decrease of cost on a card thing. They all have one, because every time you level up, you pick between 1 or 2 perks, right? But number 2 on the list that Matt has here, lovingly put together, hatefully put together, is the Insanity debuff and buff. So there's in the game, much like Slay the Spire, you can apply buffs and debuffs to people, and it's usually even on both sides. Like you apply a debuff to someone's defense, they can also apply the debuff to you, and it's the same debuff on both sides. In this game, almost every status effect has an elemental based kind of like increase of like the more you have of it, the more that type of damage is done to you, and a secondary effect. So like there's frost. That will slow you down.
Slows you down.
There's water that allows electricity to do more damage to you. There's bleed that stacks that every turn you take more and more damage at the beginning of your turn. Yeah, and so.
But here comes insanity.
But then here comes insanity.
Like the Kool-Aid man of half-baked ideas. So
you want to explain it, Matt?
Yeah. So when the enemy applies insanity to you, you get, you're weaker to mind damage, and also your cards cost more. So for every 10 stacks of insanity you have, or 5 stacks,
it's 10.
It's 10.
It's 10.
10 stacks, your cards cost 1 extra energy. I wonder if I have a 0 cost melee attack, and then I get a 10 stack of insanity and it costs 1. Do I get the refund?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think you do.
With Slay the Spire, you could answer that. With Monster Train, you could answer that question. With this, who fucking knows? Anyways, so you get, your cards cost more, and you get weaker to insanity or, mind damage. When you apply it to enemies, all they get is just weaker to mind damage.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, there's not many mind damage cards. And it's the only effect in the game that has basically, that's all it does.
Yeah.
Every other has...
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
You're telling me the pig priest does not do mind damage? Because he does mind damage to me whenever I watch you guys play him. So I don't think that surely has some mind damage in him.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about it is there's not like a ton of mind damage cards. There are multiple characters. I think half the cast has some mind damage cards.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about it is all the mind damage cards for the Rangers, or Rangers and Rogues section of it, Andrin and Thules, all their mind damage cards are locked behind this other system that I'm sure we'll get to in a bit, with stanzas and music that we never use because it doesn't work.
Yeah, because you need a PhD to understand just the multitude of
it's so complicated,
dumb shit.
Yeah,
that
we'll talk about that separately.
It explains. It tries to explain to you.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it doesn't. You have to basically just kind of figure it out by banging your head into the game. But yeah, the multiple characters have the ability to do mind damage. And when mind damage is done to you, it's really effective because of the mechanic of increasing the cost. But the enemies don't have to worry about cost. They don't have mana or action points or anything like that. They just get cards and play them. And so when you do mind damage to people, it just ticks up by 1% per stack.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It's like literally like the bare minimum. They just had mind damage, and they were like, okay, it's a cool concept to make it so your cards cost more, but for the enemies, fuck it, we just won't do anything. Even though in the description, I think it even says, like, it still says something about it.
It still, if you hover over their shit, it still says, increases your cost,
card
whatever.
cost.
Yeah.
But like there is no card cost, and so it's just pointless. And so you're playing the game thinking you got this cool thing, and you put mind damage on there, and then you're like, you don't even know if anything's happening. And over time playing the game and like applying 10 or more things, you realize
nothing happens.
Nothing happens. And it's like this huge thing, like, I thought I was doing something. And so now our entire group just avoids the cards outright. I think I have one card, Hallucination, that I grab when I'm playing as like Malika or whatever, that is a dark and mind, and that's just because it like does a lot of damage. It's like it's a good card because it has the dark in there. But even dark, you apply 25 dark to people, it does like an explosion that does 55 extra damage when it hits that threshold. Like, that's cool. But mine is just like the percentage it goes up. It's like
number go up
slowly.
And the way this game works, and we're going to say this a ton, it really is not a multiple rounds game. Like when you actually start getting the game and playing it and winning, most conflicts don't last more than 3 rounds, like at most. And then battles with bosses last no more than 4 or 5. Because if it lasts any longer than that, you're going to die, or you got like a bad mixture of stuff, and it's going to be a slog. It's just going to be the worst slog ever. So anything that takes longer than a couple of tries to stack is pointless. It's useless in the game.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we can just talk about that right now. The poison. Oh my god, you have so many numbers on your map.
It's the poison, frost, electric, darkness, all scale so slowly. They're useless.
Yeah.
We had 2 dark magician girls applying dark to the enemies,
and we got
I think they got off the
twice ever
the 2 explosions to stack 25
in 2 different
darkness. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's so hard to get. But it only feels satisfying because it never happens. Because of the sheer challenge of you playing against the game. That's literally what it is. It's like the game will not let me get this cool thing off that it promises to me. Since the first time you ever see dark, you're like, oh, I could explode from 55. This is sick. And
it's not even that good.
Yeah,
it's not like Exodia.
No, it's not that good.
Not the forbidden one.
It's just not.
It's just like nifty. when it happens. Like, oh, sick.
So why focus on that? Like, you can do decent damage with dark, but trying to scale dark on the enemy
for that purpose,
you might as well stop.
Yeah, don't make that the goal.
The same thing with poison. Poison scales way too slow.
I hate poison in this game. I because everything else happens at the beginning of people's turns, and poison is the only thing that happens at the end of the turn, and that's after they take all their actions, and so you can't even strategize around poison effectively because there's so many things that you're trying to kill them before they get their next turn. So stacking poison feels like bittersweet at all times, unless you're able to stack it a bunch on the first turn. Because at least then, you're only having to deal with one round of attacks.
But it's again, you want to end the fight quick.
Yeah, you want to end the fight quick. And in order to get that much stacks, you have to have 2 poison. Just like with the Dark, we had 2 poison characters stacking massive, going full poison decks just to be able to get anything out of it.
Mm-hmm. And it still sucked.
Wow.
Yeah, it still took a long time.
It is weird that it's the only one that's at the end of the turn versus at the beginning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
that's usually the typical thing that starts at the beginning of every game.
Well,
anyways.
In this game, fire and bleed happen.
Fire and bleed both happen at the beginning of the turn. But
at the beginning of the time or the turn, but they all do the same shit.
Yeah.
Bleed is the same as poison.
Yeah.
It scales quicker. It's the only one that's actually decent. It's not even that good. It's decent.
Bleed. And that's only because you can do other stuff with it with your character. Like you can turn the bleed into
into fury, into other shit
on yourself. You can bleed yourself and turn it into fury on certain characters.
And fire, it can be blocked by armor.
Oh my God, Matt! Do you want to talk?
Who gives a shit? Who cares?
Fire can be blocked by armor, and no matter how many fire stacks you give somebody, 1 drop of water puts out all of the fire stacks. That's not something you put in your list, but that's something that really grinds our gears. We haven't played the fire character in weeks because it feels so demoralizing.
Well, because there's one boss that heals off of all fire stacks.
Yeah.
So that invalidates fire.
Yeah. And then 1 drop of water removes all stacks of fire. And it's the only thing that does that. You have to do multiple stacks of fire to get rid of... It's 1-to-1 to remove the water, but the opposite, 1 drop of water removes all the fire, which doesn't make any sense. You ever put a drop of water on a fire, the most you get is a sizzle, and then the fire laughs at you.
It would be better. It makes some sense to be like, okay, this dude has 5 stacks of fire on him, 1 water, okay, but when Calder's putting 150 stacks of fire, and then you just fucking Isaac cry. 1 single tear,
and it's all gone.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
Why would you do that instead of just not play that character and play someone who uses bleed?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
You're gonna say fist kick?
Oh no, I was just gonna make a joke about it depends on the quality of water you use to put out the fire, but
the alkaline pH level, right?
Yeah, it has to be the spring water is the trick. You have to use natural spring water. It takes out the most fire.
Yeah, which apparently is all the water in this game.
I should know.
Yeah.
I mean, don't tell the FBI. Okay.
But yeah, so a lot of the status effects that do damage over time are the same. They're just different
timings, and some are just
different timings, or just like a different resistance thing. So some people are immune to bleed and some people aren't, which is fine, right? Because bleed, poison, fire, these are all, like getting shocked or getting frozen. These are all staples, but they're trying to approach them from a slightly different angle that's bad. It's
just not fun.
Yeah,
there's no fun or
that
joy.
They're trying to make it a little bit unique because they know that just putting fire in the game and then stack fire or just putting bleed in the game and poison and all this stuff and just putting it in as is would make it feel like
that's what they did.
A lot of stuff.
What did they do that was unique? Nothing.
Yeah.
They copy and pasted. They're like, all right, we got poison. All right.
Poison
now we
stacks.
got bleed, and now we got fire. Done.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, they're the same, Mike. Fucking do it at slightly different timings and have fire be blocked by armor.
It would be a cooler system
there you
for
go.
Poison.
Ship it.
do a variation of the Pokemon poison system where you poison somebody and they're just, quote, poisoned, and then you have different exponential like levels of how poisoned they are, which changes how much damage they take per turn, and then the poison
Maybe
go
then
away.
Resistances would mean something.
Yeah.
Segue, motherfuckers. Segue.
Oh, shit.
Resistances are
my
insane.
God.
Resistances in this game are crazy.
Yeah, they don't matter at all to you.
No.
Like when you get resistances, they're 1 to 2%, sometimes like 10%.
Yeah, when you get a 10 or 12%, you're like, oh shit, really?
But does it do anything? No, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
you still die the same amount.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It makes no meaningful impact. There's never been a time where I'm like, oh shit,
this 5% is going to make a
this
difference.
5% is going to make a difference. It doesn't fucking matter.
I only grab it because I feel like I should.
It's pointless.
Yeah, it's really pointless because the amount of percentage you get is so low when you go and play. You get to the second act of either side, whether or not you pick the green side or the red side or whatever, and their resistances go up to like 60% on stuff. They go up like 50%.
And it's 60% on everything, basically.
Yeah, it's like across the
So
board.
there's like 3 different styles of attack. There's piercing, there's fucking slashing, and there's blunt.
These are for like physical melee.
Yeah. It doesn't matter when everybody has a straight 60 against everything, or it'd be like, oh, my piercing damage does like 2 more damage than my blade damage. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, and so like the whole time you're kind of like it almost feels
Nothing
like you're role
matters.
playing in the game mechanics where you're like, oh, I'm going to play a blunt, or a bludgeon based deck because
There's literally no
I'm gonna play Hammer
downside to
Boy.
just like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, or
You can just play whatever.
Yeah,
and
because
it's
no-
all the same.
Yeah, no decisions matter when it comes to the stuff because every time you come across somebody who has any resistances against physical attacks, it's like Matt said, it's just across the board with like maybe a 5% difference. There's no creature that I can remember that is really effective against hammers but takes massive piercing damage. And that's really disappointing because when you think of piercing, you think of going through armor, right? You think piercing damage. But what they're doing is they have a picture of a bow. So what they mean is they mean arrow damage. They just mean range damage. That's all they mean. But it's called
But
piercing.
it's called piercing.
So when you think of
But
piercing,
everything about it, all the card art, all the cards that really affect piercing, fucking bows.
Yeah.
So which is it?
It's just ranged. I
And
legitimately think it's just bow stuff. And like throwing knives. So it's not
Hashtag
piercing.
just
It's
bow
just
things.
yeah, it's just ranged stuff. So what? So don't call it piercing, because when I think of piercing, I think of heavily armored dude, and then piercing damage like is more effective against heavily armored stuff, right? But there is none of that play in this. It literally is just across the board, 60% on everything, 70% on everything, or 20% on everything. It doesn't matter. It's like the same thing.
It's
for
the same.
all 3 types.
Yeah, and they have a resistance for everything.
Yeah.
There's resistance for the electric, the fire, the fucking water, the whatever.
The
It does
mind,
it,
the dark.
but none of it matters
Yeah, not really.
because they're gonna do whatever damage they're gonna do to you,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to blow them up before turn 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a couple ways you can do that easily,
Right.
and not any of the there's no room really for experimentation
Yeah.
or be like, all right, whatever, it's bullshit.
I really feel like they had a problem, and this is an actual theory that I'm coming up with on the spot a little bit, but based on our conversation just now, I realized there are so many more times where we come across creatures across the board that just have high resistances against physical attacks, but then the magic elemental attacks are where all of the planning can go in. Usually, although now we just play and we realize most of it doesn't matter. Half the time you can just play an electric person 100% through the game and make it through just fine, and you don't have that many issues. But if you're gonna have any variance in defenses, it's in the elemental type stuff. And I realized almost all of the physical attackers in the game do a lot of damage. They do big numbers all the time, 30, 40 damage, right? And so I feel like
As
they must have
God
made a
intended.
mistake, and they made them too powerful. And then when they went to go balance stuff, they just raised the defenses on the enemies instead of actually working into the characters to change the numbers on the cards that they're getting. That's what it feels like to me. And maybe it's just
Any of the damage that you do, like all the cards are like damage is like you're gonna do 35 damage. You're not gonna do 35 damage, you fucking idiot.
you do
You're
like
not
20.
You maybe
Yeah.
Maybe most of the time it cuts your shit by like 75%.
Yeah, but the number's really big, right? And so I feel like with magic stuff, the number's small a lot of the time. I'm doing cards that literally say the damage on the card is like 5 or 10, like right. But I'm doing closer to 5 or 10 all the time with the magic stuff or with the holy damage or the dark damage. But for some reason on the physical side of things, with all of the swords people and the rangers, when they're attacking, their attacks are like 40, but you're doing like 12, right? And like, why is that the case? Like, that feels like a completely wasted system. Where why did they make the physical attacks so powerful that they had to go in and essentially nerf them with all these percentages on all the on all the enemies? Like, it feels weird. But yeah, let's get back to the list here. So what else here? RNG doesn't work.
The RNG is so fucking just like, I've never noticed a game's RNG before this fucking game. Sometimes you're playing Isaac, you're like, I got screwed. Yeah. Whatever. This game, it just seems like RNG is broken.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Like all the random attacks
aren't random.
Like 80% of the time, always target the third position.
Yeah.
Like,
it became a joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to play in third position because
they get fucked.
You're gonna get fucked. Yeah. It boggles the mind.
Yeah.
And last time we were playing, I got the same hand with 1 and 8 cards. So you draw like 5 or 6 cards.
Right.
I got the same exact hand out of 15 or 22 cards. I can't remember how many.
Mm-hmm.
2 times in a row. Then I got another hand that was the same, except 1 card was different. And then the next game, this is all first turn.
Yeah.
So 4 different battles.
So across 4 different battles, all first turn hands were the same practically.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Yeah.
How many times can you count on your fucking hands that happened in Slay the Spire or Monster Train? Like,
well, your character is counting the cards.
Your character is cheating. Yeah.
Well, I wish he would stop giving me all the shit that only works after round 1.
Yeah. Yeah, you kept getting cards that you couldn't use. And Dee kept getting cards that she couldn't use either, right?
Yeah. Like out of a 15-card deck, what are the odds that you get the same 5 cards fucking almost 4 times in a row with one variation?
Even with your starting deck and Slay the Spire, it's like
I know
it's very rare.
It's very random. Yeah,
it's fucking crazy,
and it feels fine. You're like, oh yeah, this makes sense, right? You're like, because you're drawing cards from a shuffled deck, and here it feels like they just shuffled it the same way every time.
It's like they just I don't know, but it's broke,
and that's
doesn't work.
That's just the cards, and that's just the random attacks, right? But there's so many other random elements in this game that feel completely just broken. And I think we talked about it before, where like my thought about it is they probably put a real random generator on it, because it's been proven that a lot of times when you put real random stuff on it, it makes games feel not random, because the like things will happen multiple times in a row. You have to create a system that is a curated random system that makes it feel more random, which a lot of games do. I know that you were saying the big example was Isaac, that they went in and specifically made the random system. They curated the random system because that's the only way you can get it to work.
Like every game does that.
But I feel like they didn't do that here. I feel like they just went in to a random number generator, inside the code, and just went with that, which is like the worst way you could possibly do that.
Well, we don't know if that's the worst way, but whatever they did is the worst way.
True. Yeah. That's true.
It's not a good way.
Like, and it's just so fucking. I don't know.
It's frustrating.
It's so annoying.
It feels like you're playing the same thing every time, like the same setup every time. Every interaction is the same after a while, and it's like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, you're like, maybe get more cards or something like that, but then your deck sucks.
Well, it doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't matter, like, because you still see the same. Like, all of us have noticed, like, no matter how big the deck size is, like, you get the same cards a lot.
It like fixates on the same cards for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Over and over. It's just, it doesn't.
This the... Sorry, go ahead and finish your point. I just have a question whenever you're done.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I forgot.
I was just going to say, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Oh, yeah. Is this like the earliest build of the game, or like how
No.
you've been playing for 2 months, correct?
Yeah, this is after a
And what?
couple patches.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've like pretty much from the get go had like all this shit just poured in there, the burning, the fire,
Yeah.
the bleeding, the poison, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they're kind of doing the opposite of what like everybody else does in early access, where they like add very slowly systems in and tweak them a
No,
little bit
they've
between
definitely
stuff.
this is way too much shit.
Yeah.
For what it is.
Yeah, no, they just poured it in. Yeah, I feel like they can do what they're doing now. It's just they gotta like they should have started a lot smaller because now they have to balance all these status effects. They got to fix their
the
RNG system. They got to
resistances and all this other shit.
resistances and
Yeah.
like making characters viable somewhat against like having that fire resistance boss.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It seems like they probably could make a good game out of it. They just have to they started with way too much shit instead of like focusing on
Yeah.
a few stuff and kind of building from there.
Yeah, a big example of it is there's a lot of items in the game that we don't grab because the stuff it says in the item doesn't apply to any part of the game whatsoever. So an example that I always run across a lot is you'll get resistances to mind, holy, and dark damage when there's no place in the entire game in which anything does mind, holy, or dark damage. Well, mind damage is done to you rarely, but holy or dark damage is never done to you by any creature in the game that I can remember.
Unless you're doing like the challenges.
Unless you're doing the challenges. And so you get to this point where, okay, there's all these items that you just don't grab because they don't make any sense because that system isn't in there. Like maybe all the dark and holy damage stuff is going to be in the next act that is yet to be released. But the fact that they're working on the next act and not working on balancing the game is insane to me.
They don't even need the balance. They just like
rework.
Like
right?
they just need to work on what they have.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't like, and it's just so bad.
It's like it just with like the one party of characters and then like maybe a status effect or two, but have all 3 acts. That way you have like a full game or whatever, like full like campaign or something, and then they can like, oh well, fire doesn't really work well that way. Let's try changing that. Maybe let's throw in and see what people think about this bleed status effect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I said that I was gonna talk a tiny bit about the stanza game stuff because I wanted to mention it because it's something that I jokingly, as like a bit, will be like I want to make a whole deck about song like stanza build with Andrin, because there's this entire, it feels like a third of the cards for Andrin and Tholes, not as much Tholes, but for Andrin especially, that are built based around this mechanic where you're a bard and so you're playing music, and it's based around what part of the song you're in, so what stanza you're in, and there are a slew of cards that have a requirement of you being in a particular stanza for the turn that you draw the card. And there's 3 stanzas. There's 1, 2, and 3. You can have multiple songs going on at the same time, which is we only figured out through like trial and error. Of just playing
the one,
it like 1 or 2 times we ever did it. Yeah,
like even took stanza cards.
Yeah, and so like, what do you just have multiple songs going and just hope that you grab the card that is for the stanza that you happen to be in one of the songs? Like how do you play a game around where at any point you could just grab cards that you can't use, like half the time, And on top of that, if you go through the stanzas and then you finish the song, you take negatives. Like I think it slows you down. You get like a speed negative, or you get like a reinforced negative or something, where it hurts you after the song is done. And then if you're going to do that multiple times, it's like this weird, totally batshit system where you have to base everything around the stanzas and hope. Like, I don't know. We've been kind of afraid to go there because it looks like it makes no fucking sense. And you have to get like specific stuff to make it work. There's like particular items that I feel like you would need to get every time to make it viable, because I think you're going to run into, based on what we were talking about with the RNG, you're going to run into a situation where every time you start a combat, you're going to get a card that requires stanza 2, and it's going to be your first turn. And then that
already happens.
Yeah. that already happens. And then on top of that, what? You're going to go through stanzas and get the perfect card every time for a battle that only lasts 2 rounds, when most battles only last 2 rounds. It's not something that is ever going to work.
Yeah, you can't scale it quick enough.
You can't scale it quick enough. It's too slow.
Yeah. So what is the point?
And we're playing on the lowest difficulty, right? We're playing on the lowest rung of the ladder. Every further rung, the enemies get harder. So that would mean you would need to kill them faster so you don't get killed, because the negatives just get worse for you. In which case, then how is this ever going to be viable? And you know what? I've looked it up, and maybe I didn't look in the right places, but there really is a vast lack of build guides for any of the stuff that we have problems with, which makes me think nobody plays them.
Yeah, I don't think so. So we'll just jump to number 8. That the only viable scaling that you have is with Bless, which is the priest shit. Sharp, which is like everybody can do that except for the mages and the priests. Or they can do it. I don't think you would.
Yeah.
Why would you do it with them?
You can grab sharp stuff as a mage, but it makes no fucking sense.
And Fury, which is, you can get the stacks off of bleed and some other shit. And there's another stat called powerful. Yeah. It doesn't fucking matter.
Which is the same thing as Fury, I feel like. It feels very similar. I don't know. It's just not based off of bleed. It's like the same thing otherwise.
Yeah, but it only stacks to 10, where Fury stacks infinitely.
Right. Yeah, that's the big thing. That's so weird.
No, we didn't even talk about Invis. We'll do that afterwards.
Yeah.
But so like all these characters, they have their like, oh, this is how they scale.
Right.
But the only ones that are remotely even possible to do are those 3. Bless just is so good that Coulter and D can literally just murk everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Whenever they want.
It scales so nicely. Yeah, it's nuts.
Like, okay, Sharp is okay.
You have to really work for it,
and
but
you have to, work on it. So a lot of people do Sharp and Fury. A lot of people being Coulter.
Everybody I know. Coulter.
And Fury is like powerful, where it's like you get 1% attack and healing done or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it stacks so much smaller, but you can stack it infinitely.
Yeah.
Whereas powerful is like 5% or 10% per stack, and you can only stack it to 10.
Yeah, it feels like it's weird. It feels like weirdly redundant.
Why do you have both?
Yeah.
A lot of the game comes down to you have something that does something similar, but it's better. Why are they separate?
Yeah, it really feels like they're like, well, we have this thing over here. It'd be really cool if this character had something, but we don't want to make it the exact same. So let's make this thing that is effectively very similar.
Then hard cap it for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you're just going powerful, it only stacks to 10. You can most of the time get that turn 1.
Yeah.
So you just start 10. And let me tell you, you're not doing the number of damage on your card anyways. Even if you're at 10.
Yeah.
It says, oh, you're going to do 25 damage. You're not doing 25.
No.
You're doing fucking 12. And that's with 10 stacks of fucking powerful.
With the maximum stacks of powerful. You should be you should feel powerful. And you don't.
No
well,
point.
You're more powerful than you would be, That's powerful.
And and I damn it. And I want to reiterate that we've gotten to the point now where we can play through the game with we've literally been randoming our people, randoming our positions and winning. And we're still unhappy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the positions, like, you set up your fucking team, like in Darkest Dungeon. That shit's important. And you can reorder them.
In Darkest Dungeon.
And this fucking piece of shit, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they're at. No one wants to be in third because RNG is busted.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
I feel like the middle positions...
That's literally it.
Yeah. I feel like the middle positions are especially busted. Like, there's a lot of stuff that targets front. Like, it feels like 50% of attacks target front. All the other ones that go random feel like they just go third position, sometimes second position, right? And then the last position only ever gets hit if it's an all hit or if something specifies back. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And you know why? I figured it out. I've unlocked the door. I have the key, right? You know what it is?
Shit.
When you make your group, they have these little bits where it's like there's a sword in the first position, a bow in the second position, a
piercing damage,
in,
by the way.
Yeah, a Healy bitch in the third position, and then magic in the third position, and then Healy bitch in the fourth position, right? It has these symbols over them, right? It's like the plus sign or whatever for the heals. It has these symbols for them, basically suggesting this is where you should put people. This is the optimal place to put people, is what the game's telling you, right?
Lol.
And what it is everything's, I feel like now that I thought about it, everything's based around that. Your second position is your person that is most likely, and we'll get to this, to go invis or to have evade, right? Your third position is your magic user, who is really powerful a lot of the times, and therefore when random hits, you want it to hit the powerful person. The fourth position is the heal person, which is really important to survive, so why would the game incentivize always attacking the last position, because then it would kill a lot of the fun of the game. And the first position is where your tank goes, so obviously a lot of attacks just target the first position, right? I feel like they based a lot of it around that, and now if you do any other but now it's just like, it's not random, it's like fake random, or it's like real random, which means it's shitty random, but it just always seems to hit the third position or the second position. I don't know. I feel like there's something there with them.
There's not. It doesn't matter.
Am I just taking crazy pills?
Like, it doesn't matter. If that was true, it would make the game harder if we didn't pick those positions.
That's true. Yeah.
We literally had Omega tank in the back position. It did not matter.
That's true. Yeah. I've actually totally blown up my own thing. I tried to make an argument to maybe make it seem like they made some choices here, but it turns out no, it's just,
it doesn't matter. If it mattered, it would matter.
Right.
It would affect
nothing fucking matters, man.
You some way. It doesn't affect you.
Okay.
You can't reorder your people. Not that it matters.
Once you've chosen it, yeah.
So the positioning is pointless. Why do we? Who cares? The enemy position doesn't fucking matter. Either the only way to win is to do AOE and mostly big target shit.
Right.
And you're killing everything in 2 rounds anyways.
Yeah.
So there's barely ever like, all right, we need to specifically target whatever. It doesn't matter.
The strategy has nothing to do with a lot of time it feels like the strategy is like it's macro strategy now that what we're doing. We're just making like
we're just making the deck that will win.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what enemy it is. Doesn't matter. We just play the cards in basically the same order.
Yeah.
And then you just win. Or you lose.
But we've been winning every time. We haven't lost since, like, I think there was one though, just kind of like it was like a fluke. But ever since we started to win, we've only lost
we haven't
once.
lost one random position, random characters.
Specifically the random positions, random characters. We haven't lost any of them. So
if you can do that and your game has positions,
then the positions are really pointless.
Then you should look at your fucking shit. You should look at it and be like, why? How can they do this? This isn't supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
How come they can just put the tank in the very back? They can put the magician in the front, and they're fine. They're not even worried. Yeah. They're cocky, even.
They're not even sweating a single bit.
Yeah. In fact, I think we got less death's door now, or recently. Yeah, it's crazy. We've just been killing them. It's funny. It really doesn't matter anymore. Which is, really, you know what wins the games? Everyone, all audience. Speed wins. That's it. Just as long as you go first.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it was so popular in the 80s. Yeah, that's all.
True. Let's talk about Invis, Matt.
Oh,
it's fucking shitty.
Invis. So, like powerful, they love to do this where they cap the good stuff, right? And it's not even fucking good. Invis, you can go Invis. Anything that you do. So you play a card on yourself, you play a card on the enemy, you play a card on your ally.
Any action.
You get out of Invis. You play another fucking Invis card that overwrites your Invis.
Yeah, so if you had 4 Invis and you played a card that gives you 2 Invis, you now have 2 Invis.
Now you have 2. They don't stack.
Nope, they don't stack.
And every stack of Invis you have is 10% damage and healing done.
I think, I don't know if I actually don't know about the healing. I just always thought about it as damage, but I haven't played them very much. But yeah, every stack affects your damage by a percentage amount, right? And so you want more stacks. The only way to get more stacks is to have passive invis at the very beginning from items. Those stack. Or having a card that gives you a lot of invis, like 4 or whatever.
But 4 is most of the time what you're going to be working with.
Yeah.
Between 2 and 4.
Yeah, between 2 and 4.
And again, like everything that's not Blessed Sharp Fury, it's fucking pointless.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Now, if you're Blessed Sharp Furied up and go invis, then it matters a little bit.
Yeah. In fact,
because you've already scaled.
Yeah.
You're already there. My scaling engine doesn't work. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Why is it there? It's just so much of this game is why do you stack shit or why do you cap things that stack? Taunt stacks?
Yeah. Well, no, taunt doesn't stack. So there's a lot of things in this game that you feel like would stack, but they do the same thing where it's like highest number prevails, right? But only to an extent. Because, like, with Invis, if you have something that has a 2 on it, like a card or whatever, you'll come out of Invis when you play the card. Because you come out of Invis at every fucking moment, right? Yeah. You go to tie your shoe, you come out of Invis. And then the card now, the value on the card now decides what your Invis is, right? But there's other systems. There's Fortify and Taunt that, Fortify and Taunt where...
Fortify is a barricade. In Slay the Spire terms.
Yeah, basically. Where
but it has a limit.
The only time the number goes up is if whatever you're playing has a higher number than what you currently have. So if you have 1 Fortify right now and you play a card that gives you 2, you only have 2. But if you had 3 Fortify and you play a card that has 2, it just doesn't do anything at all. Same thing with Taunt. If you have 2 Taunt or 1 Taunt and you play a card that gives you Taunt, that card that gives you Taunt is just, it doesn't matter. Even if, like, it doesn't give you 3 Taunt now or 2 Taunt now. It's just you already have Taunt, so why are you playing this card? Essentially is what it is. And so you'll get things that, and this happened to Dee a lot recently, where she had Taunt cards, and this happened to me too when I was playing it, where you get Taunt cards, and because the only way to play a tank that uses Taunt is to have passive Taunt from an item.
An item, yeah.
And then,
you have to have an item.
And then hope that on your third turn where you run out of Taunt, you get a Taunt card. But you'll always get the Taunt card.
Let me tell you, you always get the Taunt card first turn.
First turn or second turn, and then when you get to the third turn, there ain't no fucking Taunt card to be seen. You're looking around, and it's just crickets. Where's the Taunt card? Nowhere to be found, right? And it's the same thing with Fortify. You start with Fortify, and then when you get to the turn where you need to re-up your Fortify because you're playing a tank who your whole job is to take damage.
Specializes in shield.
And you specialize in shield. If you don't have Fortify by the end of your turn, all your block goes away. Right, and so then you depend on getting the card that gives you more Fortify at the right timing. It feels like it's the same thing. It's the same problem that like the stanza thing has, where you're needing to get the right card on the right turn in a game about drawing cards randomly, where you don't actually draw them randomly. You draw them in the most frustrating way possible, where you get the same first turn every goddamn turn. You know? It's frustrating, and so when we're playing, it's just like, yep, this is just gonna happen. So I guess you just get more Taunt cards and hope.
It's just built in that this is gonna be bad.
It's just gonna be a problem. Yeah,
like,
luckily
I'm there for the banter.
Most times, the game, the combat's resolved within 2 turns anyway, so it barely matters.
Yeah, Holder and Dee are killing it.
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
How many hours do they have in it? Like 3,000.
Coulter has 150.
Holy shit.
And D has 125.
Yeah, Coulter.
I don't know how Coulter. He's 100% completed the game at least twice, maybe more.
Yeah, he reset and then he's like I think now with us currently or like still ahead of us. I don't know.
He's way ahead of us. Because when he reset, he was at like 50 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, Coulter has a special ability where when he plays a game, he
plays the game.
He no longer has kids. The game is his kid.
He does have children.
No, that's double impressive that they both have so many hours in the game. But I think
I couldn't imagine putting that many hours in it. I say every week. Oh, this shit. Oh, fuck.
And they agree.
You think I'm playing this piece of shit on my free time? No. You
know the main reason why I don't play on my free time, because I thought about trying a stanza deck on my own, is playing by yourself. And having to manage all 4 characters, it just feels like I just don't want to do it. Like, I just rather play when I have friends doing the other characters. And when you beat the game, you get a certain amount of money left over from the previous run that you can add to your current run's cash to start you run out with some money to buy cards and stuff like that as like your first deck. And I just don't want to ruin that because
it stacks up to 3 times.
Okay, yeah, and so I'm just like, yeah, I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna play on the day. What else do we want to go over? Because we've gone almost an hour on this game. Deserved, by the way. All the things we've said are real things that we always think about that actually affect us every time we play. 100%.
Yeah.
These are the things that scar us.
I mean, and just some of the there's a special character that does invis shit, which is pointless, so who cares?
Right.
And poison shit. And his shit is you can choose is your ranged shit, you get a refund on your ranged attacks, or do you get a refund on your melee attacks? And the main way to apply poison is through these things called small weapons. And let me tell you, small weapons don't fall under either of those categories.
Yeah.
And they're not free.
Nope.
So you get no benefit to basically choosing either one of those.
Yeah.
So you just have a perk that's, if you're going hard poison, don't know why you would. But if you did,
unless
you don't even get that big of a benefit from it.
Yeah, it's true. It's actually crazy. It's exactly what you were talking about like 45 minutes ago, Fiskate, with the Magic the Gathering thing, where you're looking at the word, and the word matters. Like it matters everything right now.
Yeah.
Because when it says melee, it doesn't mean an attack that is a melee attack. It means, does the card say melee? Which is crazy to me because, like Matt was saying.
Yeah, it happened to me. I was fucking furious.
Both characters have these things called small weapons, where they are like throwing knives, which are essentially ranged attacks, but range damage, like range
piercing.
Yes, yeah, that do piercing.
But yeah, these cards can do slashing or piercing.
It's true, yeah.
They have their own little modifier thing, but they're all under the category of small weapons.
Which means anything that says melee or anything that says ranged doesn't affect
it. Doesn't affect them.
That one level where you have a choice between melee or ranged for the level up has no effect on the small weapons, when there is what looks to could be a build around small weapons that you just...
there are cards that are like, hey, fucking pick some small weapons. Oh, here's some. Here, pick this small.
It's kind of like the shit.
Here's some stuff. Yeah, they're like, you're basically trying to go shiv build with no support.
Yeah, with nothing that actually scales the shiv build besides like sharp.
Yeah,
which is you can just go sharp and then do melee weapons and just immediately be better, or go sharp and do ranged weapons because sharp affects both ranged and both piercing and slashing. Anyways, so you would just never have. There's no incentive to go small weapons. When you can just also get the bump from the character-specific thing. It's dumb.
When most of your small weapons apply bleed or poison.
Yeah.
Which is, an engine to scale with. In other games.
In this game, it scales too fucking slow.
Yeah, and you don't get no support for it.
Yeah. So you feel like a limp noodle unless you do a very specific build. Right? There's an Andrin build that is a forever turn, practically. That
I built, and it wasn't fun.
No, it was only fun because of how funny it was to see how long the turn could last, and it only didn't go forever because you could not, for the life of you, find like one or two other cards that would have made it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being Fan of Knives, second Fan of Knives, because you can only buy one and you have to find the other one in the wild, and it never showed up for you.
Yeah, I don't know why there are hard caps for that shit either.
Oh,
it doesn't say.
Yeah, that's the other random thing that I was thinking about earlier, where there's other random stuff in the game that is just broken. At the end of each battle, you get to choose a new card out of a list of cards. Those lists of cards,
you see a lot of duplicates.
It's just the same cards over and over again sometimes. And it's no rhyme or reason. Some games you'll get different things. Other games you get the same fucking card.
It seemed
every time.
Like.
And it's the one you don't want.
When we were playing, we played a random where I was playing Magnus, which is like a pseudo half tank, half attack boy.
Yeah.
And Coulter was playing Brooklyn, which is like a pure attack boy.
Bleedy boy.
Bleed boy, but he's a tank, considered a tank.
He's in the tank category.
Yeah. And I was getting so many block cards, and he got none. We have the same card pool. Okay? The same card pool.
And I think you were both trying to go bleed. right? Because you wanted to like stack together.
I didn't know what the fuck I was going. Okay,
the
card I didn't want to go block because it didn't matter.
Right. Because it doesn't matter.
So, but I was just getting over and over block cards, and he was getting no block cards. And I'm just like, is there some hidden, like, shit where you're like, all right, you're going to go this path, and you're going to go this path, and whatever. Because Isaac does that, right? If you pick up a bomb item, you're more likely to see bomb items. But that's only if you pick up a bomb item.
Right.
I had gotten rid of all my block cards.
Yeah.
I had no block in the deck. So what the fuck?
Maybe the game was like, dude, you have no block. You should get block.
Were you doing? Cola didn't have any block either. Every character has like, we're basically like block and yeet it.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. You don't need it.
No, you just kill him first. That's what it is. That's the game. Kill him first.
Kill him first.
That's funny, actually. Yeah. I almost get the thought that maybe the game wants you to grab a card, and then you'll get new stuff the next like list of cards. But you get so many times where you get all 3 cards are not cards you want, and the next time all 3 cards are not cards you want, and then the next time all 3 cards.
Yeah, but like with Isaac, it's trying to build you a synergy. It's like kind of nudge you, like, oh, you picked up a bomb card or a bomb item. Here's another bomb item, right? And it doesn't overdo it.
Yeah.
Right. So just because you get a bomb item doesn't mean you're going to see Pyromaniac, right?
But you're more likely to.
Well, maybe. But this, there was no synergy to be had. You didn't have to nudge me because you just nudged me in the wrong direction and fucked me.
I feel like that a lot because I'll play like like Reginald or something like that, and I'll be wanting to go like bless and heal, and I'll be getting all the dark cards. And I'm like, I don't need any of these fucking
over and over and over and over again. And over and over. There's like,
it's never useful to go dark as Reginald. It makes no sense. None of his character-specific stuff ever, like scale it. Like nothing ever gets a bonus from his character stuff or any of his levels or his perks. And so, why am I grabbing it? Yeah, and it's over and over again. It's like I keep getting these same cards. And then you'll play Maluka, or I'm not even sure if that's how you say her name, but who's like supposed to be the Dark Queen. Right, so you get all the dark cards, and then you'll get like heal ripple, and you're like, motherfucker, I'm not gonna get this card. I don't heal, I don't heal like the same way, right? And like, why can't they just be honest and be like, oh, you're gonna go dark. Let's just make it so your card pool is now just dark cards. Just be honest with yourself. Like, I don't know.
Or at least be like, you're playing this character.
Yeah, or like it'll look at your deck and be like, "Oh, you're probably going towards these types of cards." So when the random, the point in which you have the choice to get new cards, you're actually getting something.
Yeah,
that
you actually feel like you're doing something.
Yeah,
and like having fun. I don't know. It seems odd.
I think more times now than ever we've had, or by the time you get to after the second city or town, our decks are complete. We don't make any other major changes whatsoever. We only grab cards. Like rarely after the second town.
Yeah.
Because
number one, we found out 90% of them don't matter.
Yeah. And then 2, we don't get any of the cards that show up that we want anyways.
Yeah.
It keeps giving us like bullshit. But yeah, so that's Across the Obelisk. I would say I can't really recommend it right now. I think it's a fun time only because we're with friends and we're bitching together, and there is some type of satisfaction about being like, we can just do whatever the fuck we want and still win. But I don't know how much longer we're going to play the game.
I was going to quit after we got all the pets.
Yeah. Still, but in fact, we have all the pets right now.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Yeah.
But
like,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not against playing it.
Right. but don't go into the game expecting any amount of balance. It's going to feel random.
It's going to lie to you.
It's going to lie to you. The game doesn't explain how to do anything. You have to figure it out trial and error. Almost every part of the game, there's no real... there's no tutorialization for anything. It just expects you to know.
Mm-hmm. And I have advanced tooltips on.
Really?
That's with the shit on.
Jesus Christ. I didn't notice any difference at all. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of where it's at. Like, I think in its current state, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah. It seems like they just tried to add way too much bullshit. There's so much layered on top of... It's like systems on systems on systems.
that haven't been...
None of them are fleshed out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel fun.
They all depend on each other, but are also unaware of each other's existence.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't vibe at all. Cool. Well, we did an entire Across the Obelisk podcast. Let's talk about Obra Dinn. I think we're done, right?
We're done.
Yeah.
Till the next patch.
Yeah.
Have you guys played the Obra Dinn? I can't remember.
I watched NL play all of it. So I know mostly 99% what happens of what I remember.
I get the vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's for the viewer, it's a mystery game that's done in like 1-bit graphics or something. I forget like what the technical term it is, but like basically it's like
two colors, right?
And it's like a color. It's like 2 different shades of the same color or whatever, you know.
Which is a cool style.
Like really dark green.
Yeah, it's like a grayscale type vibe. Yeah, but like very limited grayscale even then.
It's not grayscale at all.
Well, no, but like it's like the only example I can think of where it's very limited colors. It's like 2-tone, 3 tones max, and everything.
Another example is that horror game. I forget what it's called.
Great example.
The roguelike. The roguelike. World of Horror or something like that.
Oh, with the
Japanese, Junji shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you watched the anime with that.
Yeah, we watched the Junji Ito collection anime thing that they came
it's out?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I gotta watch that.
It's
pretty good, yeah.
And they're also doing another one based off one of his series, too, that's coming out in the next year or something like that.
Cool. I'm glad he's getting his...
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But,
it's
the Obra Dinn,
unsettling. Yeah, Obra Dinn.
Yeah, no, the Obra Dinn, basically you play as an insurance adjuster who is supposed to figure out what happened on this ship that just kind of sailed by itself into port. And so you go on there and they're like, you get like a package and like, hey, figure out what happened here because that's your job. Also, here's a stopwatch that can like show the last few seconds of somebody's life, NBD. So you're like, okay, well, let's solve this shit. And basically you just solve, there's like, I can't remember how many people that were on the ship, but basically you go through the entire shipping log. Yeah, the manifest, there we go. And you just try to figure out what happened to everybody, like who, like what the cause of death was, or if there was a cause of death, blah, blah, blah. But what's really cool besides all that shit, is like how quickly it goes into like the
Lovecraft.
Yeah, like like the first mystery you're trying to solve is like, oh, the captain and like 3 of his mates had like a standoff, and then a bunch of stuff happened.
Yeah.
And then like literally the next body you find after that is like, oh, this guy got crushed by a kraken.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they're like, oh what? There's a kraken?
Oh, this guy, he got killed by a giant crab. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right.
Didn't some people get killed by mermaids?
The next is the people that are on top of the crabs that are walking around and killing people. There's crab people on top of the crabs. And then, yes, there's mermaids too.
And what's the time frame for all these events, right? Because this is all supposed to describe what happened to that ship, right? But it's like...
I think it's the course of like a
week, right?
Is it maybe?
A year? Oh, yeah, actually, no. What happened? I think it's like
there's like a
short period of time, and then
and all this insane shit happens like packed together in this one short period of time.
And then like the ship like wanders back in after like a year or two.
Okay, so all the events happen within a short period of time, but then the ship just kind of was floating by itself for a long period afterwards.
Basically,
unmanned,
if I remember correctly,
and unmoored,
pretty much. But yeah, so. 1 second here.
I just think it's funny that like they packed so many just insane scenes. Is what it's kind of like you're coming across like a scene where each time it just gets crazier and crazier and more wilds and
the fantastic. Way that I was interpreting it is that these things are kind of happen almost simultaneously,
right? Like off the back of each other.
They're like one after. It basically all goes down to shit when like basically the Obra Dinn, I can't remember what kind of ship it is. I think it's just a cargo ship, but they're also transporting like this Asian royal people that happen to have like a treasure in it.
Right.
Yeah, as passengers. And then like one of the crewmates or somebody sees that there's like a giant treasure chest in the room. So he unleashes a plot to basically take the treasure, frame a guy for murder, frame one of the Asian people for murder, and then kind of mutiny and go away from the ship. But then like because of the treasure chest, there's like some nefarious shit going on. And so they basically just unleashed evil upon they basically unleashed a curse upon the ship where basically
you best start believing in ghost stories.
You're in one.
Kraken. But crab people.
Crab people.
Yeah, as soon as like they do something out there on the sea, and then that's like when the mermaids start attacking and like they kill like the last like 2 Asian people that know what's going on at all. And they also kill like a lot of other people. But so like the whole plan gets fucked. So the guy tries to come back with the treasure. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I came back." And then the one remaining Asian royalty member shoots him as he comes back because he notices that all his people are dead. So, and basically, yeah, like it just goes from like that to like the crab people attacking to the Kraken, and oh yeah, I forgot they captured the mermaids. They didn't even kill the mermaids. They captured like 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's what.
And they're not the hot mermaids either.
Oh, they're the actual
no, they're
mythological. They're ugly, gonna fuck you up, kind of like monster mermaids.
They have like yeah, they have like they can like rip your throat out, and they can like shoot spines out of their butts, like their fish tails.
Oh Jesus!
But yes, now I remember what the curse. The curse is because of the fucking mermaids are captured and they're on the ship, and that's when the crab people attack, and then the Kraken.
Oh, that's right, because you work backwards kind of a lot too. You don't work in sequential order all the time. You kind of work.
No, it's your job to put all that stuff together.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even an order whatsoever. It's like, yeah, you basically just solve like little random mysteries.
Well, it's because you're going down the list of the manifests, and so what happened to each person is not going to always happen.
You don't know what you're trying to find out.
Yeah.
All of that. I think you're filling out the manifest, like how they died. I think they're ranked too, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you figure out, you figure out the person. So like you can go by the manifest. Like, okay, this guy looks like a first mate or something. So I'll just put him like as unknown first mate for now. Or you can guess. But basically, every time you get 3 fates right, which basically means you get the person right and how they died correctly, the game will like check those off. So like you got these 3 right. There's like 60 more to go. Have fun.
Yeah.
And like how the game actually progresses is that it's really cool the first time it happens, but then it gets like so ridiculous, like, oh my god, like you open up your stopwatch at a body, and then you see like the last scene that happens, and then before you go back to your present time, you get like another pulse, and you see like one other dead body that's in this memory. So you go back to that. So you go to that dead body, open the stopwatch again, and then you go even further into the past of that scenario.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And like and like towards the end, there's like one that just like goes back like 4 or 5 times. It's like, Jesus Christ, what?
Yeah, and like the only way you're gonna find that right is by going through that memory and going back into it to Daisy.
You go back into that dude's memory, into that dude's memory.
And Daisy chain your way back there to find out. Oh, that's what happened to the cook, or some shit. Right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a really cool like a spoiler-free guide on the internet that you can use to help you out. But there's like, I would say probably like maybe a third to like a half of the fates on the ship you have to kind of figure out from like context clues. Like there's one guy that gets ripped in half by the Kraken, but you never see it happen, and you never like see his dead body. You just hear somebody say like, "Oh yeah, your dude got fucking ripped in half by the Kraken,"
and you're like, "Okay, check mark."
And they're like, "All right, well, his dude ripped in half by a Kraken,
was friends with this dude. That dude hung out with the officers, so he's probably an officer." And then you go, "Who's not accounted for? Fucking Bill."
Fucking Bill.
I actually think his name was Bill too.
Yeah.
Like Bill the Bosun or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, the way the game makes you do makes you make like deductive choices is really interesting. How you really have to just look at every just all the context clues and then just make like an educated guess. And then you just get better at making the guesses as you kind of figure out how the game presents itself, like while you play.
Some
really
things
cool.
like get easier to figure out. Like you recognize like certain outfits worn by people. There's like what took me a long time to figure out is that there's like tags on some of the beds or whatever, and they actually correspond to a number of the manifest. So if you're like,
that's
oh
useful.
shit, yeah,
That's a strat.
that's a way to solve like 4 people there. I was like, oh shit, let's go. It's just like a lot of cool stuff that you can like implement to figure out how to like what happened here, blah blah blah. Another cool thing I think is that basically after you solve the first death, you can actually just stop at any time, but you don't get like the full ending where after you solve after you because when you finish, you only solve like 61 out of 64. Basically, there's like 3 fates left to figure
Same
out.
guy who made Papers, Please.
Yeah,
I just had to, I was confirming. I was like, the dude who made this is his second game, and he did something crazy.
Yeah.
He made like a really famous indie game, and I was like, what game was it?
This guy,
Paper Please.
Yeah, this guy just makes like insane indie games.
He made 2.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like Papers, Please, like went crazy, and then Obra Dinn went really good. And it's just like the guy just.
And I think he's making a game. Lucas Pope, is that right?
Yeah, yep. Lucas Pope. Yep.
He's making a game for that like crank handheld thingamabob. I can't remember what it's called.
Bop It?
It's nope, not
Return of the Bop It.
Right. Lucas Pope is making the new Bop It. Yes.
I saw crank thing, and in my brain I'm like, Bop It. It's gotta be. I'm like, what?
It's like some like indie bullshit thing. It's like a Game Boy with a crank on it.
Oh yeah. I remember. Okay, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called or anything about it, but he's making a game for that. But
why?
Yeah, so you solve like 61 out of the 64 mysteries, and then you just fuck off. A year passes by, and like the remaining person, because there's like 3 or 4 people who just saw like all the shit happening. They're like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And of course that ended with like 3 people dying because people are like, no, you're not, you can't abandon us. They're like, no, that's okay. We don't want to fight Krakens anymore. We're gonna go.
Yeah.
So they you get a message from the surgeon. Basically, he's like the last remaining piece of the puzzle, and what he mails you is a literal monkey's paw. And what he did was that basically he figured out he witnessed like the key point of the whole game, where kind of like what happened between all the monsters attacking and then like the very end where the captain and all his mates are having a standoff.
Right.
And it's basically the captain just kept killing the mermaids until he's like, if you do not let go of these goddamn krakens and crab people, I'm just gonna kill you anyways. He kills 2 of them, and then he has to go fight the kraken or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then like one of the other mates makes a deal with the mermaid. They're like, hey, listen, I know this is all fucked. We're gonna let you go, but just promise me that you'll return the ship to shore.
Oh.
And I guess they do it for. I mean, they have no reason to, but they still do.
Mermaids are honorable.
A deal's a deal.
I guess I forgot. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize the mermaid's one weakness was honor. But so basically, how the monkey's paw fits in is like after all that happens, the surgeon throws his pet monkey into the brig or wherever it happened at, and has a rope attached to his hand, and then he kills his fucking monkey and then takes off the paw, and basically just waits for you to solve the mystery so he can mail it to you. Because you use the stopwatch on the paw, and that's what takes you to the original thing, and then you work the key point, like the key mystery backwards.
Right. You see through the monkey.
You see through the monkey.
Basically. I thought it was like a funny twist on like a monkey's paw. I'm like, oh, it's a literal monkey's paw.
It's a literal monkey's paw. Yeah, that's interesting. Man, what an asshole though. He killed.
Why do we
monkey.
call them paws? They're like hands.
I actually don't know why, because I think Maybe it depends on the
Very
type
good.
of monkey.
Those are hands. Yes.
Well,
well, yeah, but you don't go, hey,
No,
that monkey's thing. But
you saw the delay. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the hands.
But
I guess monkey's hand doesn't sound that cool.
well, you don't say gorilla paw
No.
though, which is interesting.
I
Maybe
don't.
you
Listen,
don't.
I don't make the rules. I don't know. Please don't get mad at me.
I mean, that's
I
a good
didn't.
linguistical kind of point, Matt. That
I know.
probably the first person who saw it called it a paw, and everyone just kind of went with it, even though it's technically a hand because they grasp. They have opposable thumbs. That's what makes it a hand. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Matt.
Yep, I'm about to blow the whole lid off this monkey paw situation.
Oh my god!
I'm taking down Big Monkey.
The etymology is shaking in his boots.
Mm-hmm.
This is the mystery to figuring out who the Illuminati is. God damn it, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Stop the paw.
God.
Stop the paw.
Pause. Well, anyways.
Hashtag monkey.
Yeah,
hands.
that's the Obra Dinn. It's a very fun game if you like just like solving mysteries, because it is fun. I highly recommend the Obra Dinn, especially if you're not going to buy the Crank Game Boy Plus or whatever it's called, and play whatever game he's going to make on that. Yeah, that's it for the Obra Dinn, I think, unless you guys have any.
No, I mean, yeah, the game has a lot of charm. It's got a very specific style to it, and everything feels cohesive in that style, like art wise. And
yeah, actually, but finish your point. But
I was just gonna be. It really feels like a polished and well put together package when you play the game. It's one of those things where you can definitely tell that Lucas Pope, as a game designer, because he's just like a one man team, essentially, like has a very particular idea in mind, and then he just goes for that specific idea.
Executes that idea.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Papers, Please. It's very, very specific, but he does it like really well. And so if you enjoy the first 5 minutes, you're gonna enjoy the whole rest of the game. Is what it feels like, you know.
Oh, pretty much, yeah. It just gets I did have to actually Google one or two people, I believe, because I just could not figure it out. I had the right rank or whatever, but I just didn't get one person correct, and you had to get 3 people right. So it's just what the fuck?
Wow,
what do I have wrong? But the art thing reminded me that holy shit, there's some hardcore wipeouts in the game. People get their fucking heads chopped off and blown up and burnt and shit. So it's really fortunate that it's in the one bit thing, because otherwise I feel like that probably would have been distracting to see somebody's brain bits explode. One guy's like, hey, I'm going to jump on this fucking spiked crab and just burn myself alive on top of it because fuck it.
Maybe the fire will get him too.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, just I don't know what else to do. Throw the fire. So yeah, no, the art, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it for real this time, I promise.
Cool. Yeah, no, the Obra Dinn's, yeah, I've never beaten the game. Matt was saying that, I watched a bunch of Norland play it, and I think you played a little bit of it, didn't you? Or no, we just watched it. We just watched it. Okay. But yeah, no. Yeah, we've already said what we could about it. And, it's a solid game. Did we want to talk about Days Gone?
Yeah. So I didn't know this about Days Gone, but it takes a lot of inspiration from Super Mario.
Oh shit.
And it's kind of subtle, but so the whole crux of the game is you're trying to find Sarah, which is your wife.
Yeah.
And initially she flies to a camp, a nearby camp, right?
Yeah, camp.
All right, and you go there, and your princess is in another castle. She wasn't there. So you do some more tricks. Shut up! I got a bit. All right, then you got you talk to a dude. We'll call him Toad, and he goes, "Oh, the people in that camp, they got airlifted out, and they went to this other camp." And then you, Deke, are like, "Oh shit, that's great. Okay, where is it?" So you go there. And, oh, whoopsie daisy, your princess is in another castle. That shit got overrun. Everybody got killed there. All right. So then you're all sad. And
again,
and you're helping other people out, but you don't really like it. He's tired of plumbing.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you get a little bit further, and then you call up Toad, and he's like, "Oh shit, yep, she's definitely dead." And then you have this fucking epiphany,
brain blast,
where you're like, "Oh, they only took, princesses and princes. She's a princess." She's a princess, Toad. So that means that she must have gotten on the plane, right? So what is that?
It's your bit. It's just barely hanging on. It's just barely going.
The metaphor.
So Princess gets airlifted to another place.
Castle.
All right. This is the final castle. Some would call it Bowser, a religious Bowser. So you're like, oh shit, she must be there. You get there and you're like, oh shit, it's been taken over by militia. She's probably dead. They kill princesses there. Oh, nope, she's there.
And you know what happens? You know what fucking happens? All right. Spoiler alert. There's so many spoilers here anyways. Just play the game and just the whole rest of the podcast is going to be about Days Gone. But I swear to fucking God, you get there. You see Sarah. You look at her, and it's one of those where you
look her dead into her fucking eye sockets. The windows to her soul.
Right. And it's one of those scenes where you find her incidentally, right? You just walk in with someone, you're getting like the tour of the land or some bullshit, and you come across this special tent that she's working in, right? She has a job now. They've taken her and convinced her that their thing is like the thing that needs to be worked on, because that's how they're fighting a war, right? God damn it, we're all fighting a war. And you see her, and I get that the first moment you don't say anything because it's weird, but then for the next 5 hours, 6 hours, however long it takes you to get that whole place done, they don't fucking talk about it.
They don't talk about their relationship. You don't know why the motherfucker Black Toad stole your ring. You don't know, nothing. They don't talk about any of it.
I don't know. It feels so emotionally distant.
I was so close to being like, fuck this game. I almost quit.
Well, because you get this weird
There's
moment
no satisfaction.
where they don't talk it out. They haven't seen each other for 2 years. And then when you see her, all of a sudden, you're just a guy in the army. You're like an enlisted person. She's an officer. And then you just don't fraternize now.
Yeah.
You're
you just
wife.
You dated for like a week and then got separated. That's how it felt.
Yeah. But no, this is your wife that you had this intense emotional connection to, so strong that on your wedding none of her family came, but she didn't give a shit because she loved you so much. And then you get to this point of the game where she sees you, acts like she don't fucking know you. I get that, right? You're supposed to keep it under wraps. But then even afterwards, when you have scenes where you're by yourself, she still acts distant to you, like you're just a fucking underling. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere,
Deacon's just like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, I shouldn't talk about my feelings or anything. I'm a biker boy. I'm even there.
And then out of nowhere, she just gives you a random fucking message that says, "Oh, I never stopped loving you." Like that's supposed to make it all better. And apparently it does for Deacon, not for me. I'm still hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the whole ring bit, there's no payoff. She literally goes, I fucking forgot about it.
Yeah, she
says she forgot about it. You, as Deacon, me, Matt, all right, the whole time I'm thinking, oh shit, is she with him? Is she with somebody else? Because some shit is weird.
Yeah.
So she must have moved on.
Right. Did she move on? Did she not move on?
We have she didn't fucking move on. The ring thing, he just took it. He just wanted it.
Man,
he just liked
doesn't make
it.
Sense because the rules are no rings are.
Yeah, why does he get to have the ring?
It's just to get you as a player to go oh, that's literally what that ring's for. It's for that reaction. Oh, it's a ring. That's all it's for.
That 5 seconds. You're like, oh my god, he's got the ring, and then you find Sarah. You're like, oh my god, wait, more questions. What? I'm sorry, you're actually alive. Oh god. Okay.
Yes. So, Fiske, how did you feel in those? Did you have a similar reaction where you got kind of frustrated, or why aren't they talking about it? Because that's the way we felt the whole time. We're waiting for a scene where they talk it out, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I've been looking for you for these 2 years. It's been really hard."
Yeah, and she's like, "What's been driving you?" He's like, fucking boozer." No, you dumb motherfucker. She's been driving you.
Yeah, he just denies the whole time.
Yeah, he just denies it.
Yeah. So,
anyways, how did you feel?
How'd you feel? We're so mad.
I can tell. Yeah, I was nowhere near as upset about it as you guys. I felt like, I mean, to be fair, like what I've said before, this is just a fine game. It's fine. So I never got like too upset with it. I never like loved it too much. So nothing too crazy there. But yeah, no, I felt like I understand like the initial like distance because like, oh shit, you're actually alive. I just thought you were dead and then
And these
alive
people
and
are
then
crazy.
dead and then alive, and yeah, these guys are fucking crazy. What's going on? And yeah, and then it does suffer from them like trying to shove like their normal like fetch quest, and they're like, all right, you can talk to your wife if you go out and find 5 zombies fucking or something. I don't remember what the fetch quests are, but like,
I did all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, like I enjoyed doing them.
I like killing shit.
Yeah, no, like that. This is like the first time where I actually like enjoy the open world part of the open world game more than like the story or
Yeah,
like the
because the
main
story lacks.
story or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I was fine with that because I again like my expectations were already shattered anyways when I thought I beat the game, and they're like, oh no, you gotta your wife actually might be alive if you just go over these mountains. But like, I just killed the guy that I just killed all his people. I killed all his people and him.
Oh yeah, when you took out all like this huge
all the
enemy,
rippers.
the rippers, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh my, but no, I killed them. This is it. It's fine now. Oh no, okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah. So this brings me to the other thing that really kind of grinded my gears throughout the entire game, which is Deacon lies about the dumbest shit.
He lies all the time for no reason.
He gets nothing out of it.
Nothing.
Literally.
What happened to Boozer? He's
half the whole intro of the game, the whole first like 30 hours, it feels like, is literally you going around trying to support Boozer because he got his arm fucked up by some rippers, right? There's this whole B storyline that actually turns out to be the main storyline of this interaction with the rippers where they're like looking for the bikers, right? And so everyone's asking you, hey man, so I heard, and everyone's like really like antagonistic about it, like as if they know, but they just don't know. They're just being antagonistic for no reason. And they'll ask you questions about it, like, hey, I haven't seen Boozer around. What's up? And he's like, oh no, he's like doing other jobs for someone else right now. When actually Boozer's like back at the place dying of his arm wounds, right?
Yeah.
And like, why doesn't he just say something? Like, what is going to happen if you just admit that Boozer got hurt? Like
by the rippers.
By the enemy.
Yeah, but everybody hates the rippers. It's not like
there's no reason not to be truthful.
You can be like, the rippers jumped us. They hurt Boozer, and I killed them, and I guess they're mad about it. Yeah. There, I just explained it to 3 camps.
Yeah. But instead what you do is the whole time you're like, oh no, Boozer's fine, and oh, the rippers are looking for bikers? Couldn't be me. Only biker around.
Yeah, they're looking for mongrels, specifically. They specifically say mongrels.
Takes off jacket. No, not me. Me? Don't look at my back.
No, I just found this. This is my jacket. I just found it from it's Boozer's jacket. Actually, he's fine though.
He's totally good. 100%. If you ask, he's fine. Like, all my friends say he's fine.
Yeah, all my friends say he's fine. And so like that type of interaction is the way the whole game is. Right, and so at first it's Boozer stuff, and then after a while, when you get to the militia,
it's Sarah.
It's Sarah, right? Like, why are you lying about Sarah at all? Like, when you're not even sure if she's alive, you get to the militia. There's nothing in the game that says specifically you can't talk about Sarah, right? Even though you have Matt pointed this out, you have a tattoo of her on your fucking neck.
Your neck. It says Sarah Forever.
Sarah Forever, and then you go and tell the main Curry, Captain Curry. Oh no, my wife's name is Beth. You're expected to believe this.
Religious dude is like looking at you, and he's looking at her, and he's looking at you, and nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, it makes.
He's just like, oh, you guys are just like friends.
Yeah, and
her name is Sarah.
Like,
and then you have Sarah tattooed. That means nothing.
There's lots of Sarahs. That doesn't matter.
In what reality do you go in there when you're looking for somebody, not ask around for that person?
Well, I think he's just like, he's kind of he's just playing.
Playing the cards close to his chest. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but you can be like, because he lies about Takuri about who he's after, and he doesn't even lie good or well.
No,
like he's just lie. He's like, I was with 3 people. We came over with the thing about a year ago, and then the dude's like, oh, didn't that happen like 2 years ago? And then Deacon's like, oh, you know what? Time is weird out here. You stupid bitch. You're not as dumb as Ethan.
But they're close.
But like you're just dumb because you choose to be. I think Ethan was actually stupid.
That's true,
I think he just was dumb.
No.
You are dumb because you're choosing to be
dumb, but like badly, negatively to yourself.
Like you didn't have time to think of a convincing lie. You just had no plan at all.
Yeah, the whole time coming over the mountain, you couldn't think of anything. What's my game plan? I'll figure it out in the moment.
Yeah, I work best off the cuff.
His introduction to the mountain area was he had to fight a zombie bear to save the militia, and then they're like, "All right, you're one of us now." Like, oh wait, hold on, no, hold on. I just go to the base and get suited up. No, again, guys,
he got corporal because he was in the military before.
Oh right. Yeah. Everything.
Schizo's got a fucking lieutenant or captain. He was captain.
Yeah, Schizo
he got ranked up pretty quick. Yeah, he's pretty good at what he does, which is being a schizo.
His worm-tongueness,
which like literally doesn't even make sense in the confines of the situation.
Yeah,
because all Deacon had to say was, "Yeah, I knew him."
All right, that was the craziest one. He comes in and he immediately denies Schizo.
Yeah, denies ever meeting him,
which is the worst thing you could have done.
Yeah. You could lie. You don't even just tell the truth.
Schizo. He's a schizo.
Like, yeah, he betrayed the camp that I was with. I left, to find my wife, Sarah.
Points to neck.
Blah, 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 blah. That's how he knows me. And, we can radio some people and they'll tell you how bad he is.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But he's like, no, I never met the dude before. And Skills was like, oh, this is my moment. I got all the dirt. He got tattoos. Freaking his maiden name is Saint. I'm like, fucking somebody, just names off all this shit.
Yeah.
And Deacon, bless his heart, is like, I never met him. I don't know who that guy is. No, you could have just told the truth and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
You compulsive liar.
He just lies just because to lie sometimes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I didn't quite get that one either, but yeah.
It's just
I understand
strange.
him holding his cards close to his chest because it's just been him and Boozer since whatever, and then
but it's been 100 days. So like you start on like day 55 or 755
around,
yeah, and then you go to 858
or some shit,
858 or 868 or something. That's what I'm on. So you have 100 days of working with a bunch of people, and you still are stupid.
And people still haven't seen your back.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen you shirtless. Yeah. And the whole time.
So you would think he would be like, maybe I'll do something different, non-Deacon-esque, and tell the truth.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm looking for my wife.
My
wife.
Also, that's my ring. How'd you get that?
Yeah, I don't. That was crazy. It's like when he saw it initially, he was just like, after he's just like, man, that's my fucking ring. What happened? Blah, blah, blah. He's going through it. And what I would have done in that situation, in real life, if I saw my own ring on some other guy's finger, I'd just ask him, that's a crazy ring. How'd you get that ring?
Yeah. You don't even have to tell him the whole truth. You tell him, shit,
ask him a question.
I like that ring.
Yeah, that's a cool ring.
I got a whole dog thing going on. Mongrel, if you will. I like that ring.
Yeah.
How'd you get it? And then, there you go. Fucking answer.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, it's crazy because
he asked Sarah about the ring. He goes, or she, I don't know. I fucking hate the ring. I don't care about it. Whatever. Deacon's little heart breaks, and he doesn't say, because I saw that shit on
Captain Curry's finger. Yeah. Which she would have too, because she
would have seen it.
So why didn't she talk about it?
Because they hang out.
Why?
Maybe she really was cheating. We're not cheating, but maybe they were actually fucking and they just never. That's supposed to be in the DLC, you see.
The DLC is, turns out your wife's a freaking cheating whore. No,
this part is one of the long DLC, but all the DLC is canceled. It's fine.
Yeah, there's no DLC, unfortunately.
Everything's canceled.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, just like, and I said this in a tweet, but like, just the way that they make character choices for Deacon, like the choices he makes are just so mind-boggling. It's like more times than not, it's like you could have done this way less complicated, way easier, and it's not like you had to think hard to come up with the easier route. It's like
you had to think harder to lie.
Like, and what's interesting is he's playing his cards close to his chest for a lot of the stuff, and then it just so happens that the militia doesn't want criminals in there, right? So because he happened to not say anything about him, because they happened to not see his back tattoo, or they happened to not see his although when he first came in, he was wearing his no, he took off his colors, and he just happened to take off his colors before he left, and so he happened to just kind of skate by to check off all the rules, when any normal person in that situation wouldn't have thought to not say.
Well, yeah, but they took that one lady, the drug addict, murderer lady. So it's not like they have a big problem with it.
Right.
As long as you don't do it while you're involved with the camp. And he lies about the burn on his arm.
Yeah, that part was weird. Why lie about the burn on the arm?
He's like,
why lie about the rippers?
I burnt it on a stove. You're gonna lie,
right, man,
brother. You gotta do
that's
something.
At least a grease fire at minimum.
You could have just said, like I got jumped and they burned my arm. What is wrong with you?
And then
you only have to lie a little bit, but he lies a lot for no reason.
Yeah, he lies way too much because like the main crazy dude, I don't remember his name, Colonel Sanders. He
American John Cleese.
American John Cleese is what he is. He asked him about these RIP dudes, and instead he's like,
I think they're like the anarchists. Blah, blah.
I've only come across the anarchists. These RIP guys, that's weird. I'll go take care of them. When he's like a fucking expert, he like ended them. Like he's like the Ripper dude, right? He's got like Deacon Ripper Slayer St. John, like that's his name.
Yeah,
and then the guy's like, so you know about these guys? Oh no, I haven't seen these things ever in my life. When there's no negative to saying that you have. You think they give him points to being like, yeah, no, I took these guys out. I know all their secrets. I thought I killed them all. This is crazy that there's a little bit more of them left. I don't know. It's just the only thing I can think of is maybe the thought process there is that he didn't say anything because he didn't want to have to get asked more questions about where he came across the Rippers, and then he'd have to say that he came across over the mountain, which is something he's trying to avoid. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. But he could just say, I came across the Rippers in the other place that I came from that I already lied about. Like, he could just say that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he's never lied before, but he lies all the time.
Yeah. It's like every lie for him is his first lie.
It's his first lie. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that's the biggest gripe in the game. It's just like those moments where it feels like the character just makes these weird decisions. Overall, there were a lot of characters that I liked.
I like Ricky.
Yeah,
I like
Ricky's
Boozer.
Cool. Boozer's cool. Captain Curry's cool. And what's cool with Captain Curry is like he starts out like you kind of like him, and then you kind of don't like him for a bit, and then you like him. Like he goes through like an arc, which is kind of interesting. And he like redeems himself a little bit, which is cool. But I think one of the biggest macro scenarios that I don't really agree with is a lot of the camps, they have like a negative and a positive, except for like Lost Lake. Lost Lake is like the camp essentially. But like with Hot Springs, if you didn't want to be involved in human trafficking and like labor camp, you can't make the choice to not just to never go there again, really. Like, you kind of have to still work with them, even though you morally...
I've never sent one person there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just weird how you can't just make the decision to be like, fuck off, I'm never working with you guys again. You kind of have to kind of keep working with them a little bit, because just like the way the game is designed in the beginning, that's how you get quests, is they kind of come in like a circle from the different camps. But I don't know. I was like, like, if you wanted to have agency about what happens a little bit, make choices, you really can't in the game. Except for like where you go and what quests you do that are all the side quests. You can choose those. But the combat's sick.
Fortunately, after like the first third of the game, you don't have to deal with them anymore. They quickly go out into obscurity.
That's true. We haven't had to deal with them in a while.
Yeah. That's why I was so confused with the desert thing, because I was like, a fucking desert. But that was like 3,000 years ago, when at the point I was playing the game, I completely didn't even think about that. I was like, fucking
knowing
desert.
what we know now, I get it.
Yeah.
It's been because like there's no incentive for you to keep going to hot springs because it's such a shitty place. Like the character doesn't like it, you don't like it. There's no real bonus going there after like unless you want to. The only time you'd ever manage to go there is if you want to go there first, or to level them up first to get the weapon bonus a little early. If you're like speedrunning the game or some shit, I don't know. But like there's that little interaction. That's literally it. But yeah, I mean, talk about the combat because like I didn't play the game, I just watched it, so I can mostly just talk about the story and stuff like that. I can say that it's become fun to watch Matt essentially headshot everyone.
I'm a god.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, like once you get enough focus, it's like it's done. Like the game.
I maxed out focus first. I didn't put any into health.
I only put everything into focus and
stamina.
I only got. I think I managed to max out my focus, but I think I put like 1 into stamina. But
I have them. They're all maxed out now. I found all the Nero.
Oh shit! I didn't do that.
Oh yeah, I've done all the Nero stuff. I've done all the bandit camps.
Yeah, so now when you look around on the thing, it's just a bunch of horde positions.
Yeah, that only just showed up now. That's literally the only thing I have to do.
Yeah, after you return to Farewell, all of a sudden the map's just hordes. Because it's the only thing that you didn't like really focus on.
If I found one, I would try to take it out.
Right. Yeah. But
that was like those are the one things I went out my way for. I really enjoyed killing the hordes.
Dude, the hordes are fun.
Yeah, I did side quests and stuff too, but after they kept crashing or whatever, I slowed down on that and just did more horde stuff. Towards the end, I was just like, all right, I killed 30 hordes. I guess I better do like a couple story missions and talk to my passive aggressive wife. Okay.
Why is she so passive aggressive? It's so weird, man.
They make her so unlikable for no reason.
Yeah. And all the
because you kind of like her in the flashbacks.
It's just like I can see why, but it's also like
but like a single conversation would clear it all up, and they just refuse to have it.
Work, man.
I know, but conflict then. I know, but the conflict is so manufactured. Like the conflict is fine if it's not this badly implemented.
No, Matt, they don't know how to talk to each other after 2 years. Come on, Matt, you know better.
Yeah, after having an intense love for each other, and then him going literally to the ends of the earth to be with her, and to not even dip his toes into other girls along the way.
Yeah, and what's crazy is
I respect.
Yeah,
I'm a one-woman man.
What's insane to me is that when he talks to her about it, it's almost like she's caught. Like, because she's like, oh, shit. Oh, you were still looking for me? Oh, I thought you were dead. And it feels like she was like, man, that one camp he was in, they got fucked. Looks like my husband's dead. Time to move on. You know? Like, it feels like and then she's like, oh, man, I just stopped thinking about the ring. It feels like she had given up hope, stopped caring, and then you came around and she's like, oh, okay.
Oh, shit, you.
Oh, right, I had a husband. Like, that's what it feels like. And then and she gives you that message where she's like, I never stopped loving you, which feels like she's just trying to really convince you that she still cares. When the whole time...
That's at the end of the whole thing.
That's at the whole end, too. She doesn't throw you a single fucking bone.
Well, you guys have sex and you have a little kiss.
Oh, I forgot about the sex part,
after that point, which is like literally the mission before. Like, then you do like 18 other missions for other people. You don't even see her for...
Like another hour.
Until you've completed all that other shit.
Yeah. It's so weird. Anyways, we're talking about combat. All right. I just want to say, like, the focus stuff is really cool. Being able to headshot everyone, walking in and basically being like a one-man army was sick. The different strategies you can come up with the hordes on like setting up little like mines or just tossing Molotovs or just chasing them around. You can do all sorts of weird shit with them. The set pieces for a lot of the like the bigger hordes, they had like set kind of, you could see like little routes you could take and decide what to blow up from afar and stuff like that. Like, it was just really cool. Like, and the gunplay, once you got a couple of upgrades for things, and even like driving around on the bike, once you got a few upgrades for that, like, it felt satisfying.
Yeah, no, I like the combat's very, very fun. It's just yeah, like you said, you can like kind of make your own loadouts. I had like a horde loadout and like a bandit camp loadout. I fucking love that cowboy repeater rifle, but it's not very useful when there's 30 zombies coming after you. But
Yeah.
the large machine gun is very handy when there's 30 zombies.
So I've
clamoring
seen
over each other.
Yeah, which one did you grab? Because I was it the MG45 is what it's called, or is it the MG55?
The first one I grabbed was just from a dead guy. I can't remember what the
It's
last.
probably the MG45. That's the one we
gun.
keep seeing everywhere. Is the MG45? Yeah.
Whatever one you can get from the militia, I think. I don't know. There was one I just managed to buy, and I just kept using that one.
Yeah. So Matt, have you unlocked that yet? Have you gotten that weapon?
Because I've unlocked all the weapons.
The specific machine gun, because I looked this up like a long time ago. The specific machine gun that you get from like late game that you can buy is like the best horde killer weapon apparently, and it's the one that I've been waiting to see. But you've already come up. Matt does like a multi-stage setup, trip bomb, toss Molotov, chase, use Tommy gun on him strategy at the moment, which works. Tommy gun's pretty sick. The Chicago chopper.
Yeah. With enough planning and traps and stuff, you really can like take out a giant majority of them. I think I planned it out like once or twice. Every other time I would just kind of like look for stuff before I rushed in. I was like, all right, looks like I could like squeeze through there. I think there's a gas can on the other side of that, so I can like squeeze through there, shoot that when they're coming through.
Yeah.
All right, and I keep going that way. Okay, all right. But no, with the horde that you have to be for the story mode, the fucking giant not windmill one, but the mill one. That was a challenge. That took me like.
Okay, wait. Are you talking about the one that's in the construction yard?
Construction yard, yeah, whatever. The giant one.
Matt beat that before the storyline came around to it. You can explore and find it early.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently if you get the quest, it just auto-completes. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you died, what, like 4 or 5 times on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5 times. Yeah, that one was big.
That's 3 times, but yeah, 4 or 5.
It was like 7 times that he died. And
10 times.
That was like one of the bigger ones you come across in the whole game. There's only like a couple more times. Is it the biggest one? I don't know. There's a couple of times where you come across hordes that are like 200 people. One of like the cave hordes that you come across is really, really big. Those are the ones the ones that I remember that were big. And then Matt was telling me that he was going through and doing all the hordes in the first area again, and he's getting like all these tiny hordes of like 30 or like 50, 80
Yeah, I
people.
threw one attractor and a Molotov and they were done.
Yeah. And we were
literally it was like, you're dead. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that good? It was like 15.
Those baby ones are like very, very funny to play after you defeat
after you're a god.
Horde.
Yeah, after you're a god.
After you're like, I got a machine gun. I got basically a whole loadout dedicated to killing like 3,000 of you guys. So
yeah,
you 12 over there, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go walk across the street and kill your 15 neighbors over there. And I'm just going to keep going down this fucking road, and I'm just going to kill them all. So,
yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
One of my favorite things is to kill a majority of the people or the zombies, walk away a little bit, and they're chasing you like a bunch of idiots, and then you just quick turn, and then you just hit them with your melee weapon.
Yeah, you start just chopping through them.
Just whopping.
Yeah. Because once you upgrade all the melee weapon stuff, you're just one-shotting everything. Except for like the big guys, and so it feels like you're just chopping through like.
Oh yeah, all the bosses. The only boss that gave me the horde bosses, not the special zombies.
Yeah, the breakers.
That was the only one that gave me trouble was the story one.
The very first one you come across.
And then the one that you find in the cave, the last mission for the Irish Toad.
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Irish.
I literally just shot him a bunch, threw a Molotov, and then he had like
Matt like comboed him.
45% health left, and I just hit him a bunch. I was like, I'm gonna fuck this dude up.
Yeah, because you quickly realize that the bigger stuff, like the mountain lions, like the cougars and the bears. And we'll get that. But like the bears, the cougars, and the big guys, you just use like a sniper rifle to the head in slow motion with the focus and just go pa 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 pa, and you can basically just kill them. But man, the wolves were little assholes, dude.
Dude, the wolves fuck me up. They fuck me up
wolves?
so.
Yeah, they fuck. Yeah.
No, regular wolves.
This is going to shock you, but essentially what happened was it felt like they were stalking Matt, where basically anytime you wasn't looking in a place, they were there.
Yeah.
They do sneak up a lot.
I'm a constant mini-map looker, right? Like, I'm in. I'm dialed in. These wolves come out of nowhere. Like, they happen
the ghost perk
so often early, and they would just like whoosh, 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 fuck me up. Now they don't fuck me up. I fucked them up. But
now I'm the cool one.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of cool emerging gameplay things that happened. Yeah. With like the bear and like the crazy bear, they would fight.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
with wolves would jump in.
Yeah, there's a couple times where you just come upon a scene and there's just some shit going down. Like, the zombie bear's fighting the regular bear, and then wolves come up and then they attack, and then there's freaks or whatever come up, and then there's just some people with some guns going ah! And you just come upon a scene and you're like, this is crazy. Good thing I just can kill all of them.
I'd let them
just
fight
wait for all this to blow over, and then I'll just kill the last guy, and then get all the loot.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like,
how much did you shit your pants when you thought a wolf was running towards you, and you're like, oh, no big deal, I'll just outrun it. But then it got faster and was running with you on your motorcycle, and you're like, oh, that's not a normal wolf. What the fuck? Oh my god,
crazy zombie wolf.
Yeah. When that first came around, I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, I about shat myself. I was like, oh, I'll just keep going. And then I see it coming out of the corner of the screen. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What is wrong with this wolf?
It was the deacon just like turns with his gun, auto turns. And you're like, wait, what are you pointing your gun at? You know?
No, I didn't have that. I was literally just writing, and then like I saw it come out of the corner. It was like, oh shit! Then I started like tapping.
Yeah, the first couple times you fuck with them, Deacon doesn't like auto target them.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, those guys are nuts. Yeah, I was asking you a similar question actually. What was your reaction to the first time coming across the crows?
I mean, I thought it was. I didn't have like any strong feelings other than like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just kind of crazy. Like you go like what you think is the whole game. Never come across a single fucking crow. They don't
or cougar. We're getting tooltips for cougars like in the first 5 hours. And I'm like, I don't think cougars are in the game.
Yeah, it's like, did they just forget to put them in the game? No, they're in the whole
older ladies.
Wait, are they just trying to warn me about older women? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm down, but
yeah. No,
thanks for the warning.
And then you get to the other side of the mountains, and that's where the cougars are, the crows are at, like all this extra stuff. And you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about.
Cougars fucked me up the first time.
Yeah, the cougars are kind of cool. Like the AI for them was kind of cool.
They'll hide in the grass and everything.
Yeah,
they don't know you have a.
I got lucky, managed to see one before it was gonna pick me off, but yeah, it was like stalking somewhere. I was like, oh, what are you doing over there? And then
hey, you
towards me. I was like, no, good.
Yeah. And then you just kill them.
Yep. But yeah, no, that is really cool. Like what they do with all the animals and the freakers and the regular people. Like all the AI stuff's really cool. I enjoyed it.
It's funny that everybody calls them freakers. Like the whole everywhere. These people, they don't know about each other at all, right?
But they all have
all of them are like, yeah, they're freakers. But then, freaking General Camp doesn't know about the Rippers, but the freakers parlance got in.
Yeah, it's like, how did this happen?
Well, man, it's a world where zombies don't exist, so they can't say zombies, so it's cooler, obviously.
Walkers.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool when they don't know the word zombie.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I actually appreciate like the rare time you watch a movie that has zombies in it, and the characters are like, yeah, these are just zombies. I'm like, you know what? Thanks. I've been waiting for that. After all the movies I've seen that aren't a George A. Romero movie, finally someone called him a zombie.
You mean the Shamblers, the Slow Boys, the Dead Boys,
the Foot Draggers? They're called the Foot Draggers.
Oh.
The infected.
Draggers. Oh my god.
Yeah. There's so many names for them. It's crazy. They literally like I think they've almost like now people have almost gone through the entire thesaurus of versions of zombies now. So I guess that they just wrap right back around to zombies again.
Time is a flat circle. We're gonna go back. Zombies are gonna be cool for a while again.
Yeah.
So did you guys have a problem with the pacing? Did you also like think you're pretty close to being the game, and then there's like a lot more game to it?
My feeling for
Or
the game right now is now I think we're actually close to the end, but I have thought we were close to the end, like for half the game.
yeah,
The
see,
problem is that the desert area, like not the desert area, sorry, the general camp area, like the second half of the game, basically way too long.
Yeah, the militia
So
camp.
you have
it is.
13 missions for like both camps.
Yeah,
Like that's more than the other camps.
it feels like it.
It
Jesus.
is. It tells you how many missions there are.
That's insane, dude.
Like,
Yeah.
And it's just
it's
crazy.
so much longer, and you're like, I don't know. Maybe there's like a lot of time is passing, but like, it's not though.
It's not. Yeah, no, it is definitely way too long. Like they could have. If it feels like the game could have ended before you went up to the pass, and like everything else, like from the pass on, could have been like a DLC campaign with
That's
how
true.
like just because like how weird this pacing is and how long like the second half is. It just feels. I just felt really weird with it. That's why I
Yeah,
just like it
my
didn't make any sense to me.
my idea for it is that because you really don't get after like a certain point, you don't really get any more um like pull with the militia after a little bit. Like once you get to like corporal, then it's just you just finish out the missions and then the storyline happens. I really feel like what they should have done is you get to the militia camp because your relationship with people doesn't really change like a whole lot, right? It's like you get these like little vignettes of stories with different characters that like don't matter in the end, really. Like the Weaver thing is just there to piss you off about him. Like, yeah, I tried to hit that once, like that whole thing, you know, like that didn't have to be in there. I feel like you could have arrived at the militia, joined up with the militia, done a couple of missions for them, talked with your wife. Your wife, like a sane person this time, is like, I need to get out of here. This guy's crazy, right? And then you have the whole thing happen with O'Brien right then instead of 5 hours later.
Yeah.
Because nothing major changes between like in those 5 hours besides you just have to it's like you just have to get through the work before you get to the rest of the story.
Yeah, I think they could have done with like got rid of all like the side quests there.
Yeah,
and just have the main quests. You know,
because at that point, that's all you really care about.
Because you only have like I don't know, maybe like 10 main quests, but what pads it all out is the 13 camp quests for each one.
Extra doors you got to open up before you get to the real door.
Well, you don't have to do them. I did them.
Well, still, the 10 main quests is still like a lot. Like you don't have to do half the shit you do for Weaver, like fucking find that MP3 player, cut that out.
Yeah, that's a story mission too. You have to.
Yeah,
do that
is a story.
I think that's literally there to be like, so he'll look the other way when you two are escaping.
Yeah,
because before that you're kind of cold to each other.
Yeah.
Which, well, yeah, because you're going to fight the militia now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Which okay then. That didn't like end up happening because he saw you guys anyways, and he was like, "All right, cool, whatever, go ahead."
Yeah,
it's like, "Oh, thanks, cool."
Yeah,
but no, yeah, they definitely could have like cut like half of the story side missions, the ones all the fetch quests in half probably, and it probably would have been a better length game than what it is currently.
Well, because it feels like they created the situation you expect to come into when they decide to move. When they decide to move after the Doctor dies and what's his face gets paranoid and moves all the important people into the Ark, including Sarah. That's the type of vibe I expected to come into when you first arrive at the militia camp and find out that she's alive. I expect to come there and then be like, "Oh, we're gonna save her." But instead, you have this weird purgatory moment where you're just there and you just do some quests.
Yeah, you're just doing jobs
where the thing you expected to happen happens anyways after all this weirdness. Like, just jump to that part where it's like, oh, we need to get out of here, you know, and then all the character of relationships are roughly the same besides, like, the Weaver one, maybe, and the fact that the Doctor dies. But, like, you know, it felt like they put it in there because... I don't really know why they did it. Like,
they're probably like, "Oh, we got this whole cool area we need to do." But people are gonna want to still like chill here.
But then
I chilled there for a while. I did everything.
Yeah. But yeah, it felt way too long. Yeah, it feels way too long because we still haven't gotten to the last bit of the game. We're just
we got a lot of hordes to do.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you're gonna do all the hordes, then yeah. I was gonna say like do the last story missions like the week of that we do the podcast or whatever, so it's like fresh in your brain. Because there's some stuff that I think you'll have feelings about. So from what we've talked about so far, I think you'll have some more feelings. So, but yeah, go ahead and kill all those hordes because that's fun as shit. But
yeah, that's fun times, right? Something that is really positive that I liked a lot. I liked how when Boozer lost his arm, there was like some real like emotional bits with that like made sense with him losing his arm. You had that whole thing where you had to like track him down because he was just kind of like he was like lost or whatever. But then you got that cool like arm attachment that you only got to really see it in action like a couple of times so far, but it's still cool. You like with you get like the blade, like that's sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got him a dog. I thought that was cool. Like you got him Jack or whatever.
I really like the scene where he's like, "All right, this is how we're gonna die." Deacon's all like ready to go fight the horde.
Yeah,
like he's just fucking down, dude.
Yeah,
he's just like, this is. I don't even think that was a play.
No, it wasn't.
I think he like is a fucking made up of pixels and a voice actor. But I was like, I believe that he's gonna do this.
No, that's the crazy part about the game is like they do have like for all
genuine
like,
moments
of the weird like shitty character moments. There are like 10% like really good ones. That one where he's like, yeah, you know what, you were there for me when I was about drinking myself to death. If you want to fight these zombies to death, let's do it, dude. It's you and me versus
just like I'm
world.
down.
Like,
let's go.
Shit. I feel the bro love. I feel the bruv.
Yeah,
I'm so broed up right now.
Oh my god,
fucking go, dude.
Mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like a couple of those moments kind of sprinkled.
Yeah.
None with Sarah so far. Besides like maybe one.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, the whole like what felt weird to me about it is you had all this like weirdness, and then you get to the part the part where you go back, and the relationship with Sarah is so strange that I started to get conspiracy theories about her. Because the vibe was so off with her. Because you go to the Cloverdale place, right? I want to say Cloverfield, but you go to the Cloverdale like facility the first time, and it lets her in at first, but then it doesn't let her in. And I remember I had this whole conspiracy theory in my brain because it says
it's been 700 and something days.
It's been 751 days since the last time you logged in here, and then I had Matt pull up the thing, and we were at 850 days, and I'm like, okay, wait a second, did she go back and didn't tell you about it like after everything? And like, is there some weird thing going on with Sarah that actually the reason why she's distant is because she's a part of something bigger or something like that? Like I went through this whole brain thing because the day that they quoted didn't match up with the day counter in the game. Very closely, and so it made me like paranoid, right? But then when you actually go through it, you realize there's no way that she could have come back because of all the stuff set up that would make it impossible with like the security guard being there the whole time and stuff like that, and then getting locked out because he's choosing to lock you out. But up until that point, I legitimately had like a split in my brain where I'm like, wait, there could be something here, like I'm onto something, and that's just how off the vibe was with her. Was like. The way you write the game shouldn't make the player, or I guess the spectator, believe that the love interest would be like this, an
evil researcher.
Yes, evil researcher, right?
Out of nowhere, like a fucking RKO.
And then after that, you get back, and they had they have the moment inside the cabin, and they get it on or whatever, and then it's like sick, we had sex, and now we understand each other again. That's all it took. We just had to get.
You have that big argument, like afterwards, where he finally talks about some of the shit.
But apparently, it took.
It took, I don't know,
the night in the cabin to break the ice. But yeah, I mean, overall, so far, it's not like the worst game in the world. Definite gripes with the storyline and the pacing.
It's mostly just the storyline.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It could just be so much better.
Yeah, I think mainly it's wanting it to be better that makes it like, such a strong like emotion about it. It's like I want it to be better, Hey, how's it going, Third Dimension?
I believe that's my cousin. Hello.
But yeah, I mean that's all. I mean I can't really think of anything else to talk about with the game. We still haven't finished it, like we've said 1,000 times, but so far.
I was about to ask for final thoughts because it's 2 hours in, and we're going to be talking about this some more for sure.
We're suddenly the Days Gone ending.
Yeah, we're Days Gone. No, we're Shadow of fucking not Shadow of Mordor, but the other one.
Shadow of War. Oh God,
the one that just has like the endless ending. Yeah.
Don't remind me, God. I never finished that because I
because you thought there was supposed to be an ending when there wasn't. It just goes on forever.
Yeah.
But yeah. Final thoughts. Yeah, good game.
Well, yeah, I guess not final thoughts.
I mean, yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. But yeah, cool. Well, in that case, we're actually going to call it a podcast. Are we going to do this in another 2 weeks? Is that the plan?
Yes, every 2 weeks.
Well, because like last time, we
we had
scheduling conflicts. I was double checking.
Yeah, I was in vacation.
Yeah. But yeah, so 2 weeks from now we'll be doing this again. We do this on Tuesday nights on twitch.tv/NFLGamingTV. But you can check out all of our content complete stuff in the description below, as well as on the screen right in front of you here. And check out Fistcake at twitch.tv/thefistcake. And the socials are also on the screen as well. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye.